combination of words I could put on the back of a postcard. No song that I could sing, but I can try for your heart. And our dreams, and they are made out of real things, like a shoebox of photographs with sepia tone loving. And love is the answer, at least for most of the questions in my heart, like why we're here and where do we go and how come it's so hard. It's not always easy and sometimes life can be deceiving. I'll tell you one thing, it's always better when we're together. It's always better when we're together. Well, we'll look at them stars and we're together. It's always better when we're together. Yeah, it's always better when we're together. And all of these moments just might find their way into my dreams tonight, but I know that they'll be gone if the morning light sings or brings new things. But tomorrow night you see that they'll be gone too. Too many things I have to do. If all of these dreams might find their way into my day-to-day scene, I'd be under the impression I was somewhere in between.
Hey guys, how are you? How exciting. 21 people already here. That's so awesome. 21 people who just got to see all of these amazing before and after photos. If you are watching on IGTV, if you're on LinkedIn, YouTube, or you're listening on Clubhouse, please join us over in the Student Union so you actually get the visual component of all of this. It is so incredible. We're so excited to have so many people registered in this program. So thank you for being here. Also, thank you so much for sending in your homework yesterday. I am absolutely thrilled with all of the engagement. Brianna Brecker is our winner of the Bottled Joy water bottle. You will love this. So we will be in touch with you to find out exactly how to get that awesome water bottle into your hands. So thank you. We will be addressing all of the obstacles that you all shared with me. I'll be addressing those over the course of the next few days. But the message that I want you to take away today is that you're not alone. Your obstacles are all variations, if not exactly the same as one another. And I know I used to feel so alone. I used to feel so broken, so ashamed of my personal experience. And it wasn't until I heard others courageously tell their story about having the same kinds of thoughts. It wasn't until then that I realized I wasn't alone. And what was making me feel so isolated and so ashamed and so broken were just thoughts. So that is truly the crux of why I created this program. I address the root cause. And the root cause, you guys, of you being overweight is not autoimmune disorders. It's not stress eating. It's not high blood pressure or low energy. It's not unsupportive spouses. Here's what it is. It's that you think and now believe that this is the way it will be for the rest of your life. And I'm here to tell you the very best news, that that is a lie. That's not true. So we are live across multiple platforms. Make sure you say hello in the comments. If you're here in the Student Union, I have my team ready to answer any questions. This truly is your opportunity to come get educated and think differently about losing weight. So there are 3 simple pillars that I have put into place. These are pillars that need to be put into play in a very precise order to get the results that you're looking for. And I promise you, you've never heard these things in this order and in this kind of precision. and it is the key. So pay very close attention. And I want to tell you that I think this is such good news, that this is new information. I know that when I'm trying to solve a problem, when somebody comes to me with a solution that is maybe something I've never heard before, I'm all ears because I consider myself a lifelong learner. I consider myself very resourceful for anything that could take hold quickly or something that's going to be more efficient, something that might be a little easier. So that's why I get so excited about coaching the men and women that I coach on this particular topic, how to lose weight fast. Because I think I've cracked the code on all of those things. This is new information. It's very simple and it can get you fast results, but it does take precision within the 3 pillars. So with that being said, the information, it might be familiar to you. I do hear all the time, I actually already do intermittent fasting, or I already eat low carb, or I journal every morning. And that's great. And I would say you're off to a good start, but you have to take it deeper than that. So that's why I'm here today in this free crash course. I'll be here tomorrow and Thursday and Friday because I really want to equip you with what it is that you need to know that you have not yet heard. So let's jump ahead and jump in. If you haven't already downloaded the workbook, the registration is pinned to the top of the page in the Student Union. I have put everything into this workbook. I've created for you to be able to use this as reference material long after today. I want you to take notes on the things that you know are nuggets and that are ahas for you, because putting pen to paper and actually putting your words to these concepts that I'm sharing with you will be so much more meaningful than trying to remember what I've told you. So use this workbook. It is going to prove to be very, very valuable to you long after today. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Tracy Plushcourt. I am the founder of Self-Made You. Self-Made You is a coaching company, and I am absolutely committed to teaching people how to take responsibility for their results, whatever those results might be. And I do that through teaching people how to self-coach. I teach people how to self-coach so that they understand why they're getting the current results or their current experience, why they don't understand how to break free from that, and most importantly, what they need to do to create the change. So that can look like a whole lot of different things. I have people come to me who want to start purpose-driven businesses. They want like huge professional transformations. And so those people I tend to coach on a little longer of a life cycle. I have people who want to stop over drinking, stop over eating. They want to lose weight fast. That has actually become kind of the primary focus. And I would say call it a sign of the times. I don't know, but all of a sudden, this has really gained a lot of momentum. And I really believe it's because it is new information that you have not yet heard, and it does take precision. So there's an order to what it is that I have to teach you. And I think a lot of people, living in a pandemic, people want to take responsibility for their health. So I do think that that's what's kind of why this has bubbled up to the surface. So today we are kicking off day 2 of the crash course. Yesterday we talked about where you're at right now and where you want to be in 6 weeks and in 6 months. And I know that that exercise is not easy, but I want to reassure you that you are not alone. This group is full of people who are feeling anxious, who are feeling nervous, they're uncomfortable, they're dealing with a lot of shame. But most importantly, I think that there is a level of excitement because of the possibility that there is a probable way that you'll be able to leave this crash course with a completely new understanding of how you can take control once and for all, and you can get to your natural weight. So many of you shared with me that you have short-term goals of around 10 pounds weight loss. And a lot of you shared with me yesterday that you have weight loss long-term goals of 50 plus pounds. And although I am absolutely obsessed with getting my clients results, I will say that I am ultimately fulfilled by seeing those clients gain a mentality of self-awareness, self-confidence, becoming an example of what's possible. I know I have quite a few current clients that are here right now. I am always thinking of them. I see them in my mind right now as I'm talking. And that is what they are. That is what they have become. They are an example of what is possible. And that is the most rewarding part of my job. So, like I've already touched on, I also asked you yesterday to share with me what obstacles are standing in your way. And I heard all sorts of obstacles, everything from work demands to menopause and hormones that are raging out of control, that are making you feel out of control, to a lack of willpower, all sorts of family responsibilities, depression, self-doubt, and fear. And those are legitimate obstacles. So I want to share with you a strategy that you can put in place. You can put this in place both personally and professionally, and you can turn any obstacle you have into a plan. So listen carefully. This is probably one of the most strategic exercises that I use in every aspect of my personal life. It's part of the practice of self-coaching. I take every one of my clients through this process. It's gold. Here's how it works. I ask myself, what is standing in the way between me and that goal that I'm looking to achieve? And it doesn't matter if it's a salary goal, if it's a business growth goal, if it's a personal goal. What are the obstacles? And exactly what I asked you to do yesterday. Figure out what those obstacles are. Now I want you to look at that obstacle and come up with a step-by-step plan on what you would have to do to navigate those obstacles, as if you were strategizing on behalf of your best friend. Like every one of those obstacles that you gave me, you take that as a fact. We have thoughts that when they are thought over and over and over, they become beliefs. They become well-driven neural pathways, and we don't ever think to question those beliefs. So what I'm asking you to do is question those beliefs, those obstacles, as if they weren't necessarily true, as if you weren't just reporting the news. Like I want you to question it as if your best friend came to you and said, I have no more willpower, and it's absolutely impossible for me to lose 10 pounds. Think about that. Like visualize what that would look like. Would you turn to him or her and say, yeah, you're right, and then walk away? No, of course not. You are going to sit down and you're going to strategize exactly how she's going to overcome it. You're going to come right alongside of her or him. You love them. You support them. I want you to treat your obstacle as if these were obstacles of your best friend. And I want you to put a plan in place of exactly how you would navigate that obstacle. I want you to think about that obstacle objectively with an open mind. If you had to answer that question, how do I go from here to there? How would you answer that question if you couldn't say, I don't know? I want you to put every single step in detail so that when the obstacle, if and when the obstacle even arises, you can then pull out that plan of attack and you can feel really confident that you're armed with the next steps. It's a whole different feeling than being in the moment of seeing that obstacle for the very first time. That's when your primitive brain goes into auto drive and it starts creating all sorts of fear, all sorts of thoughts that create emotions. and thinking becomes far more difficult. Think about that, you guys. Think about when you're in the moment. But just consider, if you take those obstacles right now and you create a plan for it right now before it's ever even appeared, how much more confident you're going to be taking that next step. Because should that obstacle arise, you've got a plan. That plan is in your back pocket. Does that make sense? Now, that's how we're going to build off of your homework from yesterday. Your homework for today is to give me that step-by-step strategy that you would create for a friend who has that same obstacle. Look at that obstacle objectively, as if it were your best friend, as if it was their cross to bear, not yours. So we will put the link to today's homework. It's just a Google form for you to fill out. Hopefully today's works a little bit better than yesterday's. We had a little technical difficulty, but we're all good now. So I want you to be thinking about that. That's today's homework that we're building off of yesterday's. And we will also pull another winner from all the submissions of homework. So please get your homework in. But before we get into the day 2 of our workbook, I want to review a little bit of yesterday. So if you want to turn back the page and look at yesterday's, we talked about the 3 main reasons that we're overweight. And it's very simple. It's over desire, which is a feeling of desire that's running at its highest level. It's your hormones, and it's over hunger. So over desire is often due to people not being tuned into their hunger signals. They're very disconnected from themselves physically. And we don't always know if we're hungry or if we're full. And we've learned whether to eat based on all of the messaging that's like coming at us. It's 8 in the morning, time to eat breakfast. It's noon, time to eat lunch. It's 5, it's time to eat dinner. We go to a restaurant, we must order an appetizer. We go to happy hour and we have to indulge in alcohol plus whatever the happy hour special is. We go to a party, it's all about eating. Like, think about all of those social norms and the messaging. We absolutely have adopted it as our way of life. That is where over desire is stimulated. And we feed that desire. So if we have, this is the mind map, this is the model. If we have desire right here, and we understand that it's an emotion, it's just a feeling. It's how we behave when we indulge. It creates a vicious cycle that creates this level of emotion that is unlike anything else. So it becomes over desire, and that's what is keeping us overweight. Desire, you guys, is just an emotion, and it's created from a thought. It's so simple. But when we experience a feeling of over desire, our brain creates this like unwarranted sense of urgency and importance of food. This bad habit of feeding desire is then fueled. So I walk my clients through 3 very simple steps to reduce desire and to bring it back to its natural state. There's nothing wrong with desire. It's when it's like on overdrive that it becomes problematic. Okay? So it's nothing that you need to resist or run away from. It's natural. It's a natural emotion. And we as humans are put here on this earth to feel the entire spectrum of emotions. But I want you to reduce that over desire back to its natural state. And you can do that very simply by eliminating sugar and flour, 2 very concentrated substances. And you can create an eating protocol for yourself that plans out your meals that uses food for fuel versus food for pleasure. And by doing self-coaching, working on your thoughts that need to be cleaned up. That's how we reduce over desire. The second major reason why we overeat is due to hormones. And we have to understand that hormones had a huge impact on us overeating. Insulin is the main hormone that you have to understand if you want to lose weight. You have insulin in your bloodstream. When that happens, when insulin is in your bloodstream, you cannot burn fat as fuel. If you have insulin in your bloodstream, you're using glycogen that's in your blood as fuel. And because we have such mass quantities of food readily available to us, and we have tons of messaging telling us that we should be eating 5, 6, 7 times a day, insulin is almost always present in your blood. And it absolutely keeps us from being able to burn the fat that is stored on our body as fuel. It has absolutely contributed to this obesity epidemic that we are now experiencing. Insulin, if you have never heard of it before, or maybe you have, but you just thought it was a drug that is given to diabetics, it is a hormone. It's a hormone that is produced by our pancreas. And when it's in our blood, we cannot burn fat. So there's 2 ways to reduce insulin, and that's eating fewer carbohydrates and eating less often. Eating reduced quantities. And I teach my clients how to build protocols that puts all of that into play. I also teach my clients about leptin and ghrelin. Those are 2 other hormones that have a lot to do with being overweight as a society. So I personally was able to balance my own hormones through an eating protocol that incorporates intermittent fasting. And I have not only experienced a 40-pound weight loss, but my moods and my energy became so much more manageable. I think so much more clearly. My mental state is so incredibly sharp because I have very strategically incorporated intermittent fasting alongside of choosing food that fuels me. So your eating protocol has to be created by you because it's for you. And this doesn't mean that you don't have any help. It means your work is understanding how you react physically, emotionally, mentally, and metabolically to what you eat so that we can build a sustainable and productive protocol that serves you uniquely. It satisfies you and gets you to your natural weight and keeps you there for the rest of your life. And then the last reason why we overeat is due to overhunger. And when the desire for food is gone, you will not need willpower. A lot of you talked to me about willpower yesterday. You won't need willpower. You won't need extra effort to resist overeating. We reduce hunger in the same way that we reduce desire. And that, again, is by eliminating sugar and flour, at least temporarily, by planning your meals for fuel and then using coaching to manage your thoughts and your emotion. So I'll just tell you right now, when you have a coach, you don't have to know exactly how all of this works. Because as your coach, I walk you through the process step by step. So in support of reducing overhunger and overdesire, one of my primary goals for all of my clients is to get them fat adapted. That makes your body fat, what is stored on your body, the primary source of fuel. A lot of us have a lot of stored body fat, right? That's why we're overweight. We want to use that body fat as our primary source of fuel. That's what becoming fat adapted is all about. Essentially, we just want to rebalance our hormones, train our body to burn fat for fuel. And this only can happen when you successfully lower the amount of insulin that's present in your blood so that your body can access the stored fat for energy. And the amount of time that it takes to become fat adapted is different for everyone. But I will tell you, it's somewhere between 6 and 10 weeks. So the people who are going through my Stop Overeating Fast program, they just graduated from the intensive into mastery. We take those first 8 weeks and we hit it hard. We're all about becoming fat adapted. So it can be a little bit like drinking from a fire hose. They're learning how to self-coach. They're learning how to build protocols, but it's all with the objective of becoming fat adapted in 8 weeks. Because on week 9, we transition into learning how to self-coach to get the bigger goals for ourselves. So I asked you yesterday to send me your 6-week and your 6-month goals. The people who just finished the Fat Adapted Intensive, the first 8 weeks of the program, have now been asked, think bigger. Now that your brain fog has lifted, now that we've redirected their focus from being obsessed with needing to lose weight, now there's something new on the radar. And that's when it gets really fun, because they can start applying all of the concepts that I've taught, all of the foundational concepts to even bigger goals without taking our finger off the pulse of their long-term weight loss goals. So I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday, and she said, I really think that your program is different because nobody is out there looking for a life coach. They're just looking to lose weight. And what they don't realize is that when they hire you to help them lose weight, they're actually getting a life coach that teaches them fundamentals of how to get any result in their life. And the weight loss becomes a byproduct of this bigger transformation, mentally and emotionally, as well as metabolically and physically. You get the advantage of losing the weight, becoming fat adapted, clearing the brain fog, increasing your energy level. And then that's when I ask you, okay, now what's the bigger goals on your list? Like, what are the things that weren't even on your radar because you were so distracted by the weight? Let's talk about that. That's what lights me up. Okay. Whew. On to day 2. Turn to your day 2 worksheet. We're going to talk about the most important tool for sustainable weight loss. Oh, good Lord, I've got 2 minutes. And if you haven't caught on by now, I want to make it very clear what that tool is. It is learning how to self-coach. It will get you sustainable results in anything that you apply it to. Learning how to self-coach is understanding why things stand in your way in your life. Like, I realized what stood in the way of making every change in my life and my career. It was my own sabotaging thoughts. Those thoughts created feelings, and then I acted from that feeling. Sometimes those were good feelings, positive feelings, and sometimes they were negative, and sometimes they were very indifferent. Doesn't matter. I was acting from those. It's a think, feel, act cycle that you have to understand. And when you do, it cracks your world wide open. It changes everything. It's the way that you can create anything. I don't care if it's a 50-pound weight loss, a 100-pound weight loss, $100,000 in your bank account. You can put anything in the R line and get that result by working this model, this mind math, when you understand the think, feel, act cycle. Here's the deal, guys. There is no shame in not totally grasping this yet. I will tell you the missing piece in every other diet that you've ever tried was that you were never taught how to manage your thoughts and emotions and how to take responsibility for your experience. I have made it Self-Made You's mission to be a higher education that teaches the simple steps to creating change, and to show you how to take responsibility for those results. We live in a world today that very quickly places blame. It's so easy to point out all the reasons why we haven't gotten the results that we have always wanted. I'm here to tell you it's time just to take that responsibility. It feels so good to take that responsibility, step out of the victim. I can show you how to do that through self-coaching. And that is without a doubt, that is the missing link from every single other weight loss program out there that you've ever engaged in. So if you're anything like me, you probably have spent a lot of time thinking about your weight, feeling very broken, and you desperately want to feel confident and strong. If you're like me, you're exhausted from trying things that only work temporarily. You probably feel like you're eating against your will, and you probably have come to the conclusion that willpower does not work. I used to think that willpower was my superpower. I used to think that I could like white knuckle my way through anything. I bet you think the same thing. I bet you think that you could just, if you could just solve this weight problem, everything would fall into place. And the reason why I know that you have that thought is because I spent half my life thinking and feeling that way. And it really wasn't until I found the most important tool to sustainable weight loss, which is learning how to self-coach. Self-coaching will heighten your awareness to your thinking. It's the very first step. It heightens your awareness to what it is that you're thinking. It promotes decision-making and it fosters change. I believe that self-coaching is the truest expression of self-care. Hear me when I say that. It is the truest expression of self-care. It is the foundation to getting any result that you want from your life. It is a process of discovering who you are, what it is that you want, and it offers a framework for achieving anything. I'm a hugely visual person. I needed to have framework. This is for anyone who has maybe lost their identity, their sense of who they are, or wants to create a new one. It's for anyone who wants to regain control over their life and the challenges that they're facing. I believe that it's for anyone who has lost sight of what is actually possible. So one thing that I learned about self-coaching during my weight loss journey is just because you have a thought that runs through your head, it doesn't mean that it's true. All of your thoughts have to be questioned. I want you to write that down on your notes right now. Just because you have a thought, and I'm going to tell you, you have on average 60,000 of them a day, it doesn't mean that it's true. You have to question your thinking. Self-coaching helps you get to the root cause of your problems every single time versus just band-aiding symptoms. Okay, so moving on to the next question on this worksheet. What is an effective food protocol? Creating an eating protocol that is sustainable and that fits your lifestyle is the second key to getting to your natural weight. A lot of you asked me yesterday, what does natural weight mean? And that's just a way of explaining where your body lives at its most optimal level. And you will probably fall below that, and you'll quickly realize that it's probably not the most optimal weight for you, or you maybe hover and maybe plateau 5 to 10 pounds above that. And it will take some tweaking. But I call your natural weight the place where your body functions the best or at its highest level. And I'm talking mind, body, and spirit. It's when you're really like firing on all cylinders. That's when you know you're at your natural weight. So the idea of creating a food protocol is choosing foods that fuel you. It's determining when you're going to eat those foods, and then how much time you're going to put in between those meals. So I like to come alongside of you to create protocols that fit your lifestyle so that you don't have to adopt somebody else's protocol and use it like a script. So that you allow the protocol to work with your lifestyle. You're not trying to cram a protocol into your lifestyle. Your protocol should support the life that you love. I want you to create joy in your life so you don't have to get it from food any longer. Nothing about the food protocol is prescribed. It's created by you for you. So I teach you how to choose the food that fuels you. And again, how to extend the time in between your meals. And I mentioned this yesterday, choosing food that fuels you is low carb, eliminating the refined carbs. It's moderate protein and it's high fat. And those are the good fats. And I teach you exactly what falls into those categories. It's making sure that you're hydrated. It's making sure you're taking the right supplements. It's very comprehensive when you're talking about the foods that fuel you. And then we talked about extending the time in between your meals. You can call that fasting. Fasting, again, is just a manipulation of time to get you the results that you want. So we walk through a process of trying different periods of time between our meals, and we just start extending it by 2 hours. Everyone fasts, you guys. So for those of you who are like, fasting is disordered eating, I could never fast. You fasted last night while you slept. I get all sorts of people who want to like debate me on whether or not they can fast. And I'm like, you do it when you sleep. It's the act of not eating. That's it. It's really simple. And so once we've got people just like extending it just this much longer after they wake up, then we start to extend it week by week by just 2 hours. And I know it sounds crazy, but we get you through all of these experimental fasts of experiencing how your body reacts, how it adapts to extending the time between your meals. So here's your homework again. I want you to send me how you would walk your best friend step by step through overcoming their obstacle. I want it to be really detailed. This is the strategy, utilizing your obstacle, but doing it objectively on behalf of your friend. I want you to remember that beliefs are just thoughts that you have thought over and over and over again. They become this well-driven path. These thoughts become well-established neural pathways. And to replace it, you have to understand what it is first and foremost so that you can get to the root cause. So tomorrow we will be back in here at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. We are going to talk about the 3 pillars of sustainable weight loss. We're really going to break them down. I hope you guys are getting a lot out of this crash course. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to myself or my staff. We are, again, going to send the Bottled Joy water bottle to one lucky winner who turns in their homework. We also have kind of a fun announcement. We were just looking at the numbers here in the Student Union. We are at, what are we? We're 56 people away from 1,000. We have to get to 1,000. So we decided to keep the incentive going one more day. So for every person that you invite that comes into the Student Union, you get credit for 2 people. So we're doubling the credit. We have, let's see, we have 3 people who have won the candy. We have 5 people who have won the water bottle. We have 5 people who have won the coffee frother. We have 2 people who have won the book. We have a couple people who are close to winning the monitor. So we thought, we can't shut it down yet. We're way too close. So we want to get to 1,000 people. Jump in, you guys. You're going to get credit for 2 people for every 1 person that actually joins. Help us get to 1,000. Be on the lookout today. I am going to drop an interview that I just did with one of my current clients, Jan Marks, who has recently finished the program. She lost a lot of weight. She's got an awesome story to be told. But here's the thing. She lost a lot of weight without giving up something that she loves. And so you have to watch this interview to hear what that is. It's a ritual that she does every single day, and she was not willing to give it up. So I said, all right, let's try it. Just know that it might slow down your weight loss results. And she was okay with it. Lost a lot of weight without having to give up something she loves. So you guys have to tune in. I will be dropping that into the Student Union. We will also have the follow-up email that kind of reiterates what we've talked about today. If you didn't get it yesterday, check your spam folder because we sent them all out. We are still enrolling people. Like, we actually just started enrolling people for the next program that starts Wednesday, the 24th. If you want to get in on that, we've got a couple kind of fun, unique details for you or incentives. We have an app that you will be using throughout your experience in the program. You get a mentor assigned to you, and all of these things, the sooner you pull the trigger, the sooner you get to get started. So there's a huge incentive to, if you know that you want to do this program, don't wait. Don't wait. That's all I got to say. There's all sorts of people in here today that have been through the program. Feel free to reach out to them. You'll see a lot of testimonials this week, a lot of before and after pictures. I'm so excited that you're here. This is going to be so much fun the next few days. I cannot wait. So thank you again for being here. And I am going to give you another peek at some of our self-made success students.
Thank you.